they bring new cities and a ban on cars. The UN and other Cappadocian, the New World Economic Forum, WEF, are the two organizations that rule the world and are staffed by members who constantly lecture us about their democracy. However, these members have not been voted in by anybody, but they proceed fantastically in every aspect of people's lives. They are now in the process of creating new cities or rebuilding existing ones and have called them the 15-minute cities. The idea of the new type of city is that of Sorbonne professor Carlos Moreno in 2016, who was awarded in 2021 with the Foundation's International Nobel Prize. Information on the website, Nobel Award, for his idea. This makes perfect sense, as this idea serves the New World Order. The central idea of the 15-minute city is that the basic needs of the citizens will be met by moving the citizens on foot or by bicycle over a distance that will be covered in no more than 15 minutes. That's how much people's lives' living space will now extend. This new perception of the neo-Nazis who staff the two main international organizations that are mentioned about the new cities and the new living conditions has arisen because of climate change and because of the COVID-19, which has banned the movement of citizens. The ban on the movement of citizens was called lockdown and barbaric, so that the living world would not understand that they live in dictatorial regimes of an obscene type. During the period of COVID-19, during which citizens were trained not to go too far from their homes, it was an experiment, and at the same time training citizens in the new living conditions that are being prepared for them, for their good as always. Through the new 15-minute cities, they will essentially ban the free movement of people forever, so we will have the new climactic lockdowns. As an idea, it may sound nice to those who do not see beyond their noses, perhaps for reasons of complexity, but the consequences will be tragic for societies if they get ahead and build 15-minute cities. The funny thing is that on its website, the WEF, and to give prestige to the idea of the 15-minute cities, mentions the views of our forefathers, the Greek Aristotle, who believed that man is a political animal and his life should be in city-states. Rather, those of the UN and the WEF are refusing any dialogue, are still in the period when the politikon in Aristotle's saying does not apply to them, as they deny people's freedom. So they're exempt from all this. Now, the distortion of Aristotle's views and concepts, mainly of city and state, by the Hellenic internationalists is impressively comic tragic, because Aristotle spoke of cities where the inhabitants would belong to the same race, the same religion, and the same manners and customs, and the title of citizen was not for everyone, meaning that not everyone was qualified to vote. Also, the city-state was for the inhabitants to be freer, while now the internationalists want to shamefully enslave 500 million goyim they hope to leave alive, doing them the favor of letting them exist and not live. In other words, Aristotle's views have nothing to do with the UN and the WEF. On the other hand, when Aristotle said these things, they did not have sufficient vocabulary to express themselves, perhaps because they were busy in oak fights with the squirrels, resulting in their mental retardation. A deficiency which we, the Greeks, corrected as much as possible. It's comical to imagine Klaus Schwab reading Aristotle and Mitsotakis reading Schwab. Now, on its website on the subject, the WEF, with the 3 6s in its logo, speaks of dystopia, utopia, F-topia. He claims that the environment people live in now is dystopian. That's why, with the idea of 15-minute cities, they want to turn it into a utopian one. It informs us that over 1 billion people on Earth live in informal settlements, while dystopianly 130 million properties in China are empty. Their utopia, to which they lead us, is an urban planning term coined by the Scotsman Patrick Gentz, who says he created it from the Greek language. If he could, he would coin it in English. It means good place, F-topia, utopia, good place, and is between dystopia, bad place, and the utopia, non-place. in which society must move first from monetary wages to the vital budget, which facilitates the conservation of energies, the organization of the environment, in order to preserve and develop individual, urban, and social life. This is exactly what they want to achieve in 15-minute cities. In the 15-minute cities, they will drastically limit the use of cars until everything is banned completely, their ownership and circulation. The owner of the car will request permission and approval from the municipality to which the car will be registered in order to circulate it. The municipality will constantly monitor the car and its owner, its routes, its passengers with cameras. Car entry-exit control gates will be placed in sectors such as camps or tolls. This has already been done in a city in Europe, and as we will see, it is no longer a fantasy. Depending on the above parameters, the driver of the car will be credited with points in the social credit system. Long live their democracy. So the 15-minute new cities that they dream up to trap their victims, in addition to the immediate ban on cars, will have consequences such as, for example, the destruction of the relationships of people who will live more than 15 minutes away by bike, the destruction of traditions of nations, the destruction of villages, and the banning of private agricultural enterprises, which was enacted to take effect from 2030. The absolute control and monitoring of people, the imposition of their needs, the closure of small personal businesses, the increase in bureaucracy, the increase of ruffians resulting in the dissolution of the social fabric, thus imposing tyranny to maintain order, and many others which will destroy people's lives because, of course, climate change, for which people are always to blame. It's noteworthy that nowhere are they mentioned about the religious needs of the citizens. No churches or religious houses anywhere in these cities. Already a similar experiment has started in the city of Oxford, and to start this experiment, the city councillors decided, like experts, that they probably are, that there is climate change and that it is man-made. This put them on alert, and they set out to save the planet, while we in Greece, for example, are still in the straw phase. The first measure taken by the municipality there is to limit the traffic of cars by allowing them to go outside the boundaries of their sector for a start, 100 days a year. The installation of car traffic control gates created reactions and tragedies in the city, worse than Pania, which is why the municipality decided to impose democratic fines on car users. A Democrat councillor of the city of Oxford, belonging to a Democratic party and committed to democratic ideas, expressed the highly democratic view that whether they want it or not, the inhabitants will obey and they will adapt. At the moment, there are also trials in Oxford about whether there is climate change. This means that the ban on having a different opinion from one's tyrant is coming, so that we can continue to vote thinking that we freely choose our leaders, even if they are proven to be experts' abilities. There is a problem, though. In some cities, it's not possible to create such 15-minute sectors in the giant cities, such as Athens, for example, due to construction and overpopulation, but they have the solution for both: earthquake. That is why the enlightened elders of Christian Orthodoxy warned us about great earthquakes in the future. The artificial earthquake is a means to succeed in their plans. The 15-minute cities with the UN and World Economic Forum, WEF, want to oppose are an inhuman system of total control of the masses that deprives even one freedom under the Charter of Human Rights: free movement. Climate lockdowns are the principle to restrict citizens to a limited space around their residence. The next step is to limit the space of his residence itself, because he does not need that much space, but the citizens don't know that. Sprayed Klaus Schwab will let them know. With the 15-minute cities, they want to level every freedom of body and spirit until you surrender your soul to them if they can. Black ravens with claws fell upon humanity. This is by Christos Manziaris. I've translated this for you from a Greek article. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.